Hey guys, it's Miko from ML Sound Lab, and this is the Essentials Capture Pack by ML Sound Lab using the NAM Neural Amp Modeler free open source platform thingy. Let's go! Okay, ML Sound Lab just released the Essentials Capture Pack, which captures 9 of the best amplifiers in my entire collection. We support Tonex, we support the Quad Cortex and Nano Cortex by Neural DSP. We also support Kemper, but most importantly, if you don't have any of these platforms, you can just use the free Neural Amp Modeler plugin. Also, quite many pedals nowadays support these neural captures, so you can actually put these in a bunch of different pedals out there. I personally don't like using noise gates at all, so I'm just going to be turning it off. I'm also going to be turning off the EQ here, but the thing about these captures is that you can quite realistically adjust the gain on all of these captures with the input volume. It will be quite realistic to some extent. Obviously, if you go all the way, it's not going to be that realistic. Also, these EQs, you can use them to get your sound perfect. These captures were done so that they sound good on a Les Paul, on a Strat, and even super low tuned Gen Z guitars, so you will have a very good starting point no matter what genre you're playing in. Right now we're starting off with the FMAN BE drive, and this is the full capture. We are including in this pack actually also amp only captures, so you can use different impulse responses with these amplifiers. This is the drive channel of it. So in my opinion, the BE100 is the perfect amplifier because depending on how you play your guitar, you can make it sound modern, like you can palm mute it like I did there, but also you can play it in a vintage way like I did there with the open chords and stuff. So it translates very well you're playing into whatever you're trying to do. It works for everything. Now all of these amplifiers were actually captured in 3 different gain stages. So in the case of the FMAN BE, we have the medium BE channel, we have the Plexi Clean, and we do have the highest gain hairy BE channel as well. This is the Plexi Clean. So it's not a pristine clean, it has that warm sizzle crunch to it, which just sounds warm and amazing. I will say that whenever I do have the opportunity to have a clean channel with just that tiny bit of saturation in there, I'm gonna include it. So pretty much all of these clean sounds still have a tiny bit of hair to them because that is the entire purpose why you have this amazing character of these different amplifiers. Okay, next up we have the hairy BE. This is probably one of the best high gain channels out of any amplifier in the world. Just have a listen to how amazing this sounds. So once again, that chugs amazingly, perfect for not even needing a boost with your amplifier. It has that chug in it already, and it has that amazing snarly British character in the gain to it. It just sounds perfect once again. Such an amazing sound. Okay, the next capture we have is called the FNDR Deluxe Clean. This is what it sounds like. We're not using any reverb or anything like that for these tones. Obviously, if you were to use this, I highly recommend to use some sort of spring reverb model. Okay, this next capture is driving that clean channel, and the cool thing about that is that we're actually using an Alessandro speaker in this Deluxe, so that makes the drive sound super creamy and smooth, much better than the stock speaker on these amplifiers. So just have a listen to what this actually sounds like. Okay, and this next capture is maximum gain on an FNDR Deluxe. The way you would actually use this is you lower the volume on your guitar to get the clean sounds and the driven sounds. So let's start with kind of low volume on the Les Paul here. So it drives up to be this amazing huge sound. It's still a combo, doesn't sound like a full stack, but you can get this huge sound that really works nicely in the mix. And if you just roll off the volume on your guitar, you have an amazing American clean sound. Then we actually have the Jazz 120. This is based on a jazz chorus, obviously. And you would use a chorus on this clean sound most of the time, but we're not going to be doing that here. Let's have a listen to what this actually sounds like on the neck pickup. So. That is the sound. So remember before when I said if I have the option to have just a tiny bit of grit on a clean sound, I will include that because that is the character of the clean sound, and I did that for this clean capture of the Jazz 122. If you want to have lower gain, you can just quite realistically lower the input. This is a solid state amplifier, so it's going to sound quite realistic that way. Then we have a drive sound, and this is a solid state drive, so you would use this more as a fuzz or an effect on synth or something like that. It's a solid state crunch. Let's have a listen. And we have even more gain. Very unique sound, and the way I would personally use that is to put even a fuzz in front of this, and it'll just muffle out in such an amazing way. This is not your high gain sound, let's be honest. The next capture we have is actually the Mars 800. You can probably guess what it's based on. And the clean sound of this is one of my favorite clean sounds, once again because it has a tiny bit of bristle on top. Let's have a listen. And the drive sound of the Mars 800 is my favorite drive sound in the world. So let's just do what it does the best. Oh man, AC/DC all the way, Guns N' Roses all the way. Oh man. It doesn't really do more gain than that, but we did boost it as much as it can go and tweak the EQ to give the maximum gain out of the 800. So this is what that sounds like. Then we have my other #1 amplifier in the world, which is the Mega Mark IV. And I love all channels on this amplifier. So many people love the 2C Plus out of these amplifiers, but I've had the opportunity to actually try a real 2C Plus, and I much prefer my real Mark IVs. I had 4 of them last year. I only have 2. How can I live this way? Only 2 Mark IVs. But hey, this is the Rev A Mark IV. Clean sound. And the second channel of that amplifier. And the lead channel of this amplifier, this is the John Petrucci, this is the Metallica tight, the most amount of gain on any amplifier ever, still tight, and you can hear all the notes in all the chords you're playing. This is amazing. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like. Sorry, I'm playing a Les Paul. It just goes to Marshall every single time. Dang it. Then we have the Mega Rec, and this is actually based on the Roadster. So this clean channel is the Lone Star clean, and then the driven channels are your more classic recto tones. So let's have a listen to this clean sound, which is essentially the Lone Star clean. And this driven sound is the third channel on the Roadster in the vintage mode. So that is, even though I played something quite melodic, that is more of the American rock, super modern, even though it's not super high gain where you chug it all that much, it has that drive sound that is very unique. You hear it in alternative rock all the time, so your Foo Fighters, your Nickelbacks, all that sort of stuff. Wow. Then we have the modern on the fourth and last channel, and that's the sound. Let's have a listen to what that actually sounds like. So that has all the aggression, that has all the amazing fuzzy kind of ultra low-end boomy badonk you can imagine, and it's still super tight because the way the dynamics work on that amplifier is that when you do a palm mute you actually hear the high end first and then you hear the low end. So even though it has that huge low end, you can hear them both very well because you can hear the chug and then you hear the low end. It's not hitting you at the same time, which is why it's such an amazing amplifier. Okay, this is the ORNG clean. and then on the ORNG drive. So that's the perfect amplifier for playing complex chords. You can hear every single note in there. Then we have the lead, which is the fuzziest, amazing kind of stoner riff kind of a sound. So let's have a listen. Man, that is huge sounding. I love it. Then we have the PEAV Block based on a 5150 block letter, obviously. This is the clean sound, which once again sounds amazing because it has that sizzle on top. Let's have a listen to the clean sound. So you likely didn't know the block letter has an amazing clean channel to it. Then we have the crunch channel on that amplifier. So that crunch channel already is quite high gain, but obviously the reason quite many people love this amplifier is the lead channel of this amplifier, and it does amazing things. So it has that thick, saturated, palm muted sound to it, and it doesn't have to be used for super high gain stuff. It sounds very good for what it was built for. And then the last amplifier is the 64 VX30, one of the rarest amplifiers in my entire collection. This is the clean sound of that amplifier. Full on jangle. Then we have even more drive. And then we have all the gain. This is a lot of gain. Okay, and that is all the 27 captures in this Essentials capture pack. Now I know in the NAMM community there are some big questions that people want answers to, and I'll try and explain them to my best ability. First of all, people are already asking me what kind of capture signals I'm using, and that is actually somewhat of a secret because we are actually using NAMM as the platform for our plugins. So if you get our latest AmpSync plugin and most likely all the future plugins that are coming out from MO Sound Lab, we are actually using NAMM as the basis for our amp modeling. So we have actually a custom system for all this stuff. And the test signal that we use is optimized for the custom system. And even these NAMM captures are actually done with our custom code. I noticed that we need to have pretty much a 50-50 blend of actual guitar playing and different test signals. So we are taking care of the potential aliasing problems that some people are documenting. That is taken care of, don't worry about it. And then we are also going through various different guitars. That is something that quite many people are not even talking about in the community, but when I was doing all these tests, I actually realized that if you only optimize the aliasing stuff, many times you start to get further away with the amp model. So you need to have a very good balance of actual guitar playing and then those test signals. Then people are also talking about calibration. Once again, we are using our own custom system that doesn't have that new function, the calibration system. So I'll just quickly give you the quick answer. We are aiming at plus 14 dBu. 14 dBu is very good. Most platforms actually have like 12. So if you're using something like a Scarlett or a UA or something like that, most likely your dBu will be around 12. So for ultimate realism, you will actually have to turn the input gain down 2 dB. But the thing is, when it comes to the input volume, I think you shouldn't overly focus on that. I'm still recommending everyone to use your instrument inputs of your interface and just turn the gain all the way off. I have a bunch of these different interfaces, and I can make them all clip when I palm mute hard. So that also includes my SSLs, what I'm using here, all the Scarlett stuff, all the UA stuff, RME. I can make those clip if I just pick super hard. What that means is that you should just have the gain at 0 to get the full dynamic range. If you are a light picker, if you have like a Strat and that's the only guitar that you use, then maybe you can boost the gain, but you need to be very careful or very good at knowing how much you're actually boosting, so you can take that into account when you're actually using these captures. So to keep everyone's life simple and easy, I highly recommend people to just use their instrument inputs. And truth be told, you can use the input control on the plugin to very realistically simulate an amplifier gain, because for most amplifiers, the gain knob is actually an input volume. So to some extent, I'll say like plus minus 3 dB or so, you can very realistically use the input volume to fine tune the gain on all of these captures. So if you feel like your clean sound has too much drive, don't be too worried about lowering that input volume like 3 dB. It's gonna be perfectly fine. Once again, if you want more gain, don't be worried to boost that. But I think it's awesome. It's good that you guys know what's up. Don't worry about it too much. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've been Mikko from MMO Sound Lab, and stay tuned for more. Bye bye.